Our beloved Blazers, RIP. 2-game run on YouTube TV.
Remember you.
And for some reason, team didn't announce this. Station didn't announce this. Nobody seems to know how or why. The Blazer Vision channel, KUNP, no longer on YouTube TV. So if you didn't have an antenna last night, they housed the Pelicans, who are the worst team in the NBA.
Pelicans are so bad.
But I thought CJ was
terrible.
amazing and he could lead a team.
Yeah.
Where's your CJ friend at? I want you
I don't know.
to
You want me to text him right now? Yeah, I'll send him a text right now.
2 great assists last night.
Yeah.
Way to go, CJ.
Is that what he had last night?
Way
Yeah.
to share the basketball.
Yeah, he can shoot a lot. That's about it. That's
Yeah.
what
Minus
CJ can
17
do.
in 27 minutes. That's impressive.
I haven't been a big Ayton guy, mainly because I want the Klinger to get the minutes. He swatted the living hell out of CJ, and
He
I
did.
stood up like, yeah, get that weak ass out of here.
You guys know what last night's win means for the Blazers, too, don't
What does it mean?
Less ping pong balls.
you? Not only that, but they are now closer to the play-in
Yeah,
than
I
they
know.
are the
They're creeping
bottom
into
of
the
the
play-in
Western
dirt.
Conference. It is freaking
Are they?
sad.
Can I ask you guys this?
They are 5 games away from the play-in, 6 games away from the bottom of the Western
Danny
Conference.
LaRoe and Nate Duncan do a Substack-type podcast. You have to subscribe to listen to it. They did their worst general managers. They named Joe Cronin as the worst or the third worst, depending on the two of them.
He's in the bottom 3.
And they basically highlight how he just didn't trade the guys to let the young guys get the minutes.
It's funny. Who's been arguing that for months? Who doesn't know anything about the NBA?
Those are
hands
2
raised.
really smart dudes, too. So
Yeah.
you can believe it, you don't have to believe it, whatever. Anyways, that's what they said. There's a sneaky good point by one of them. I saw this article on Blazers Edge. Is there an idea that behind the scenes, the Vulcans were like, you can't be dog ass? And, like, I hear that they want to trade their guys, but they're not. Are we going to be a playing team?
I mean, for the love of God, please no. Please, for the love of God, don't let that happen.
Now, Meringue told me the other day off the air, he was like, they're going to probably sit him after the deadline. And I was like, all right.
We're going to start faking injuries in the back half of the year.
Killer nail, dude.
Yeah.
But if they don't, that team, they have enough veteran guys. It's like, hey, they're the 10 seed.
You know
Well, this
Chauncey's
is-
trying.
I mean, of course he is,
Oh,
because
yeah,
he wants to save his
yeah.
job and he wants to get another head coaching job in the NBA. To be fair, I guess on his part is why it would never made sense to bring him back. Like, I understand where he's coming
Trying
from.
for Chauncey, by the way, ain't an X's and O's thing. It's just not playing young guys.
Yes, I am keeping my veterans in the starting lineup, and they're going to play 40 minutes unless we're winning or getting blown out. It's just funny. I had a thought yesterday seeing the final score because I tried to watch the game on YouTube TV, no longer available. My antenna was in one room and one room only. I'm not going to go just sit in that room to watch a Blazer Pelican game
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock on it's just not happening.
Nice
So,
little game from Shaden. You
nice
missed a
little game from
first
Shaden.
half,
The numbers looked awesome. Sounded like they killed one of the worst teams in the NBA. That's awesome. Scoot struggled again. I think I'm breaking down all the highlights perfectly.
Scoot was okay. He didn't shoot well from the perimeter,
Yeah.
but he was all right. He was better than the last game. That's
But
for
I
sure.
remember we used to do the YouTube overtimes early last year and into the spring and summer as everything kind of winded down. And we had one with Ben Golliver, good friend of the show for a long time, but we can't get him on live because he's not a morning person. And I remember asking him on that, like, hey, Ben, and he had just went on a rant about how he just had watched Cooper Flag and how your whole motto is
He was
going to
here
be
for the
America Hoops or Nike
the
Hoop
Hoop
Summit.
Summit, yeah.
He's like, dude, this is going to be your whole thing. You're going to want to tank for Cooper Flag. He's going to be the best player, and he's going to, a franchise changer and all that. And I remember asking him, like, are we going to be bad enough to be even in that conversation? And he almost laughed at me. Like, oh, yeah, the Blazers will be bad enough. But this was my biggest fear, is that you have veterans on this team that are going to lift you up a certain percentage. And I know some fans are tired of that conversation, but for me, it's not going to go away because that's the whole point of being in the position that you're in, that I almost feel like when you're in that, whether it be the play-in spot or just outside the play-in spot, that's literally the worst spot to be in the NBA. You're not bad enough to draft or have a easy opportunity to get a game changer in the top 5, and you're not good enough to make any sort of serious noise in the playoffs, which this organization clearly isn't. It's similar to where the Seahawks were this year, which also, hey, Vulcan thing. The Seahawks not good enough to make the playoffs, clearly not good enough to make any noise if they made it and beat the Rams or didn't lose to the Giants, but they're drafting 18th in the first round. So you don't get a top 10 pick, you don't get a top 12 pick. You're drafting almost at 20, and you're not a playoff team. You're in no man's land as an organization. And whenever we win games like this and I hear these kind of conversations, I agree completely with the sentiment. Joe Cronin has done a lot of really good things, man. Denny Avdia on the run he's been on for the last 2 months has been awesome.
It's interesting. They highlighted that trade and said he overpaid.
Which,
they're like, he's a high-level role guy, but...
I mean, sure, but you gave up Malcolm Brogdon and what, the 18th pick in the draft or whatever it was?
Also a future first, because we had 3 in 2029.
Okay,
and
so
we
you
had
gave up
3
one of those down the road.
I think it was a Bucks pick.
Okay, so you gave up another future first.
It was one of 3.
I think the hope is by 2029 you're not still in tank mode, and this could be a piece that we need. Like, he's been awesome for the last month. He's been playing incredible. Kamara is unbelievable defensive. He's the best defender we've had.
It was great to get him in that trade.
God knows how long we've had him forever. Can we send Ayton back and just keep Kamara? Can we do a take back on the other part of it? Like, he's got a lot of little wins, but it's just the lingering frustration that exists on nights like where Schulte brings up they're closer to the play-in.
By the way, don't look now. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the 76ers pick on Tankathon. That's the 8th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And it has us at 7. Well, we're 5 games out of the play-in, by the way. I just looked at the standings, so I was curious if it was closer than I thought. We're still 5 games out.
I just said that.
Oh, did you say 5?
I said 5 games. 6
sorry.
from the bottom of the Western Conference.
My apologies.
You're fine.
I heard you say close to the play-in, and I was like, oh, I wonder how. So
We're
I missed
also
the
5 games out from being one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect them to be the worst team in the NBA.
No, I'm just saying
even
bottom
the second or
5.
third.
Charlotte, Toronto, Washington, New Orleans, and Utah.
The point is they're 7th, and whether that puts them at 1 to get Flag or Harper or Bailey or Demon or Edgecombe, whoever the hell it is they won't go after, I don't know. You definitely want to be in like the top 6.
Yes,
that
in
kid
a draft
in Illinois,
like this.
That I can't even say his name. The European kid, he looked awesome. He's 6'6". You got Edgecombe at Baylor. Demon at BYU's been awesome. Bailey Harper at Rutgers, and then you've of course got Cooper Flag. We'll see where it goes, but they blew out the Pelicans last night, and they're not on YouTube TV anymore. So
Are we going to get any answer on what happened there?
Has any media organization reached out to the team and asked their press team?
It's not just the team. I would actually ask K2.
No, totally. But the
What's going
Blazers
on
are the
here?
ones that have given us the information since the beginning of the year. So they are the leads on this. If they want to say, hey, go ask K2, that's fine. But somebody ask the Blazers what the hell's going on in this city. We have terrible media. If this team were in Boston and this team weren't available to be watched, there would be an uproar all over the place. I am shocked. It is just a perfect representation of Pacific Northwest sports fan. Well, see if I can get him tomorrow. So ridiculous. Care about something.
I'm in the media, so you kind of just like took a shot at me.
No, I'm talking about you. I'm honestly, I'm talking more like regular news stations. It's like, is this not a story? Do people not care? Oh, somebody broke another window. Let's lead the news with that.
Shut up about the sun. Shut up about the sun.
Not being able to watch your sports team, the one sports team.
I mean, Schulte's rant is pretty valid here. Like they were on for 2 games in the new year.
Why am I taking arrows, man?
I don't know.
You're
Well, you
not.
don't need to take an arrow. We're not journalists here. We don't report. We
I'm
just
not
come in
talking
and
about y'all.
talk out of our butt for
The Nuggets
3
are
hours.
barely viewable in Denver.
Yeah,
They're
people
on a
don't care
weird
about
altitude
basketball in
thing.
Denver. They only care about the Broncos out there.
mean,
like,
Broncos
why were
country,
they
that's
on
right.
for 2 games and then they were on twice on YouTube TV? The channel was there. I watched them both.
Well, the other thing is,
and then they just disappeared.
And a good
also-
team comes out with an explanation why that happens.
Yeah.
They also, I really am worried that at some point you're going to have a stroke mid-rant, and I don't want that to happen. They also said right at the start of the new year it'd be on, and then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't. And then,
And
it
then
was.
and now
it's
gone
not on
again.
again.
I have an antenna. I watched.
Way to go.
Great game.
Yeah.
Great game, guys. Way to blow out the Pelicans. Look, we can argue about wins and losses all you want.
Oh, we will.
Any day I can watch them blow out a CJ McCollum team, I will be doing it with a smile.
That's enjoyable.
Ah,
I'm with you on that.
carry your briefcase to the next president player union. Overrated.
Yeah, he just cares about his vineyards.